Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Miriam if this is your first time coming on here. So I've gotten a couple of questions about express entry process and how to move to Canada through express entry. I'm going to make this short and easy as much as I can. So I'll be going through 8 steps of processing express entry if you're from anywhere, India, China, Italy, whatever, anywhere, Nigeria, Ghana, anywhere. So hopefully this will be helpful. I know there are lots of resources out there. I just want to do like a simple summary 8 steps. So just to let you know, anything I say in this video, I'm going to leave like links below that applies to that and where you can get more information. Disclaimer, I am not an immigration officer or agent, so I'm not allowed to take you one-on-one and give you advice or give you tips. Everything I'm saying is based on research. Looking at, my husband went through the express entry route, so I know a couple of things and what I've heard people say. So I just like gathered information and try to make it as simple as possible for you. First step is looking at the subcategories that you qualify for in the express entry. I know there are 3 subcategories. Usually most people outside Canada are using the FSW, that's the Federal Skilled Work Program. So look at the categories and see which one you actually qualify for. I'll leave the link below so you can go and check and see. That's the first step. Secondly, I would say you need to write an English test. Regardless of if English is your first language or the official language in the country you're applying from, you need to write an English test. And if you're taking French, you need to apply for a French test, which is the TEF, and the English one is the IELTS, is the IELTS. You need to register for that and write your English test. The higher your score, the higher chances of you eventually getting into the pool and getting like invitation. So just focus on getting high scores. I know you do written, hearing and speaking. So in these categories, just try to get the highest score as possible. And either you're doing French as well, try to get the highest score as possible. This will be very useful for you during your process. Thirdly, you need to evaluate any degrees that you have outside Canada. I think it's called credential assessment. So it just means that any degree or you have outside of Canada, you need to evaluate it. And I will leave the link below where you can do that. So if you have a master's degree and a PhD, I think you need to evaluate one of the two, not like the two together. So you need to like pick one and evaluate either the master's degree or the PhD degree or the bachelor's degree, anyone that you have, like just you need to do the evaluation. Fourth step, I would say you need to calculate your CRS score, is the comprehensive ranking system score. I would leave the link below again on where to do this calculation and what the requirements are. Then you would go ahead to do your application for express entry. So all these things you're doing before is just prep, right? So when you get to step 4, you actually apply for the express entry program, and you get like your profile set up and all of that. Then the calculation of your score, like ranking, is just later. Like it's not something official you have to do, but it's good to do just for you to know like eventually, okay, what would my score be? Because they do express entry by pulling and like scores, just to give you an idea like okay what your scores will be at the end, and maybe to give you a time frame of maybe when you get invitation to apply for your PR. So once you've done your set up your profile, normally when you set up a profile, then it will tell you like what your actual official CRS score is. And if you've done it properly, your own calculation before, it should be like be matching or be like very close, so you know like okay what score you have. And the 6th step, you're not really doing much, it's just you have to wait for the draws. So they do the draws like every 2 weeks. Just follow up online. I know there's some platforms that really share like the scores, and you can track and see like a trend and see okay what score are they currently, maybe predict the next score or something, but you have to wait to see the score. And again, going to the next step, that one step is, oh, your score like was part of the scores that was announced. Let's say the score announced was like 490 and you have like 495 or something, then you qualify, right? Like the minimum has to be like 490, then you qualify. Once you qualify, you will get an invitation where they will ask for more documentation and everything that you've put online. I think now they will ask for like the actual proof, and you have to like submit that and send that over. You get the necessary information of where to send that to, what you need to add, what you need to submit. I mean, again, these informations are online. Like for people that have done it, there's list of document that they request for that you can see online, so you can start preparing yourself. It's not when you get the invitation that you now be like, okay, oh, they asked me for this. I think it would be good for you to know ahead, do your research, and know like the exact like document that they're asking people, so you can prepare yourself ahead of time. So once you have all your documents submitted, you paid for your application, the last step will really be waiting for when they request for your passport and your visa is issued, and they can give you like permit to come to Canada. And your visa will be issued along, okay, if you apply alone just for yourself, if you applied with your family, it will be issued for the whole family, and you can start preparing like when do you want to come to Canada. Although it's a permanent resident process, you don't really get the permanent residence like right from Nigeria. You get the visa, and this will be activated once you get to Canada, and you have to like go and apply for your permanent residence card and all of that when you get into Canada. It's not something you can do from Nigeria. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll just get it and stay in Nigeria, then there's no point. I mean, the whole process of doing it is because you want to jackpot and leave anyways. So once your visa is approved, they will request for your visa. I think they either ask you to send your document to, I think either Lagos or Ghana. I think so, yeah, depending on where they're processing like your document, your profile. So some people, it takes them months, and it's not like they used any agents, they did it themselves. And I know someone that it took them like 2 years. So it's up to really how quick you can submit your documents when it's requested for, and if your score is requested. Some people spend so much time in the pool before they actually get to their score, so that could be a deciding factor as well. And just a couple of tips to like get maybe your process to be a bit faster is, one, try to get the highest scores in your English test or your French test that you're doing, so that you have like higher numbers, and that can help you. And I know that if you have siblings in Canada as well, that will give you extra points that you can add to your own profile. So yeah, start pushing your sisters or your siblings like to come to Canada, so eventually when you decide you want to come, you can use their score. And secondly, if they ask you for a document, try to submit as soon as you can. I know there's some things that are out of your control, like for example, maybe getting a certificate or a transcript in your school or something like that. It could take time. I know that's like beyond your control, but as soon as they request a document, the earlier you submit it, the better. And if there's anything you change, try to let them know, like, oh, this thing has changed, the status has changed. I'm sure that there's a place like where they say if your status change or any information changes, please let us know. One thing I know people say Canada don't play about is misrepresentation. So if you say, oh, I forgot to add that I had a daughter, or I forgot to add my marriage certificate, or I forgot to tell them that I'm married, or I got married, and like all of that, you need to be careful. If anything changes, try to update them, because if something is not correct or inaccurate, they can say, oh, that's misrepresentation, and they can ban you from applying or for anything like coming to Canada. So you don't want to get into that. Anything that changes, just put it there. If there's any document that is not like direct and self-explanatory, you can put like a letter of explanation and explain like what the changes are, or the confusion of the document, just so the person treating it can be clear and they can know and it can be on record that you've actually declared that. So don't just go with the flow and be like, oh, they'll overlook it. Lastly, avoid to try to use like agents that might make your process like complicated, or someone that is trying to give you one documents for proof of fund that is not correct or legit. These are things that can really get you into trouble real quick. So don't try to go through the corners. If you're using an agent, make sure you use an agent that is legit and someone that knows what they're doing. If you're doing it yourself, try as much as possible to get information and ask people and talk to people that have done it themselves to know what to do and what not to do. Okay, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you find this video helpful. Like I said, I'm going to leave all the links in the description box below so you can go ahead and do your own research. Disclaimer, I am not an immigration officer or an agent. I can't take you one-on-one and give you advice. I know a couple of people send me email to ask like personal questions. Unfortunately, I won't be able to answer you directly. Anything I share here is what I share. If I have any more information, I'll put it in the description box below so you can click on it and go do your own research. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.